Hello, everybody. This is the Anime Bro here, and welcome to another episode of Anime Discussion, a show where I have someone else and me talk about a specific anime. And today I am with the lovely guest Abiisu.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Abiisu.
Yeah, and if you want to check him out, I'll link will be in the description below. And yeah, let's just get started. Today we'll be talking about Mushoku Tensei, even though I said I wanted to talk about Bleach next. Couldn't find really anyone yet, so we're just gonna skip ahead and just talk about Mushoku Tensei, a anime that basically got a recent adaptation. It's kind of considered like one of the first ever isekais ever, and we're just gonna be basically talking about our thoughts on it and stuff. So, just gonna ask, have you ever heard of Mushoku Tensei before the anime adaptation, or no, not really?
Honestly, no clue.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then, I think I saw a few videos about it, and I was like, "Damn, this anime looks kind of fire."
Hmm.
I think I saw the Scamboli video on it,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Oh, this actually looks pretty good." And then I ended up giving it a go. I was like, "Holy shit, this is something special right here."
Hmm.
And so I've just been sticking with it ever since.
Yeah. It's a good show. I like it. Yeah, I like it. That's basically what I have to say about it. I don't really think too highly of it. Many people say it's like one of the best shows ever. I do agree it's a good show. Kind of don't see it as like a great show. I got my reasons that we'll get into later, but yeah, since that's the basic introduction, I guess we'll just name some stuff we really enjoyed about it. So, I gotta say one thing. As a as a world building person, I really did enjoy the world building that this anime has. It's really is like basically pointed out. Like one of the arcs is like the first book of Lord of the Rings, where it does like a lot of traveling. And if you're not into world building, then obviously this could throw you off. But it is a really cool thing seeing all the different worlds and also learning about different races and stuff like that. It's a really cool thing that I really liked about it. Uh, I do gotta agree that like season 2 right now it was a bit long with the traveling and stuff, but it kind of helped build with up the world that you're living to, and it makes it feel a bit more like a long journey instead of just like this one place that anyone can get into. Like it takes like 5 minutes to walk to one place and then 5 minutes to another. I really do like it. It helps expand this world as something much larger than just one town and or one city and stuff like that. And yeah.
To be fair, I love the world building. Like the fact that they went through the effort of literally creating new languages to like point to the show and like just immerse you that little bit more. All these different races, which I guess that aren't really unique to like Mushoku Tensei, just like kind of like fantasy races overall. But like as you mentioned, like the long journey, it is a journey throughout like basically a medieval world.
Yeah.
Where everything just takes a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah.
So that slow ass journey would have taken him years, and it did take him years. And I think they spent like an ample amount of time traveling and experiencing all these different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just added to that like coming of age aspect of the anime.
Yeah. Well, I'm a person with like fantasy, and I don't want to be saying like it's like making languages is nothing, but for an anime, I do gotta agree. That's actually, I think that's like the first time anime's ever done something like that, where they had different languages for different races and stuff. Because for those,
That's the first one I can remember.
yeah, because for those who know fantasy, and obviously, you know, Tolkien did his in Lord of the Rings. Everyone knows that, and even in Game of Thrones, and also in Star Trek. But in anime, it was a pretty big like thing to see a different language. Now, I don't know if the author made it, because I've been looking around and I haven't seen anyone name these languages, like if they're like an actual thing he created or if they're like something that just like the animators did. But I really want to know more of these languages, because it seems like they're pretty cool. Like it's a pretty cool thing to add to world building, having different languages, because it makes it feel more realistic. Also makes it more like, hey, if I go there, I can't just be speaking English, Or like,
Yeah, literally.
or,
It's like the thing in anime where like they'll cross the universe and apparently everyone just speaks Japanese.
yeah.
Like that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's not how it works in the real world.
Like even in like episode 1, Rudy like literally doesn't understand what anyone is saying because they're speaking like a different language.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot.
I just remembered that, and like I don't know, that's such a cool aspect how like he literally had to spend like a year and a half like learning the language of the land.
Yeah. I guess that's a really cool thing too, because it's like, because nowadays, especially when isekais are mentioned up, it's like he gets transported, everyone speaks English or everyone speaks Japanese. It's like, oh wow, it's a miracle. Or something like they all translate his words so that everyone understands what he's saying. But like, I guess so. Isekais, obviously, this one has like one of the tropes, and you see all the tropes that it made. But I do gotta agree that this trope, honestly, I kind of was sad that they didn't do, because this would have been more interesting and made isekais a lot more interesting, like seeing different languages and stuff and all that. But so far, that's actually kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of actually sad they don't do that, because
I feel like it's a bit too much effort for like the rest of the shows, since like Mushoku Tensei had like its own studio to do like all of the work for it. I really doubt like half these like just isekai that just get shit out like every season.
Yeah,
like would really put in that effort to like create a new language.
Yeah. I guess it also depends on, like, the Japanese economy. Like, they literally work 6 days out of the 7. So it's like they're already trying to put a lot of effort into the anime. So just making it just adding a language would probably be like you're doing something beyond. So I guess that also has a thing about it. But yeah, that's actually pretty amazing, language and world building. You got any good?
Yeah, really
you got any good points you like about it?
I really enjoyed the characters. The characters are really like the biggest strength of the show. It's just the amount of like character development and like the slow growth that you end up seeing over like the 2 cores of the season.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that's so like encapsulating almost. Like you see Rudy like change from one point to another, like across like a few episodes. You're like, oh shit, he's made this revelation or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, Eris is being more mature now. Like now that they've traveled this, that, or the other, and it's just so interesting to watch.
Yeah, I do agree. The characters do change, and it's a really cool thing that you do see. Characters, I don't want to say are like a back point, but when it comes to the world building that this amazing show does, well, actually, it's not amazing. This show does is I
Bro, you didn't have to do it like that.
I'll just leave it in. But anyways, it's world building is kind of like a big thing that it shows into it. You do see some character growth. You do see also how certain things happen because of certain events, especially when Rudy and his father came and met each other. When they first came, it wasn't like, oh, how are you doing? It was like his father was a drunk. He was basically saying it's all Rudy's fault and stuff like that. I didn't do anything. And they came out and they were like, oh my goodness, they hated each other. And even his siblings, his sisters, which he had, they saw him as this person that shouldn't be liked because of what they either through experience from the one parent or the first time meeting him, the sister that was with his father. And it was really kind of cool because it showed that actual time has passed as well, because it was the last time he saw those girls, they were babies. They couldn't even remember, they probably couldn't even remember if they even had a brother. And the first time meeting him or even hearing about him, they're like, he's this bad guy. He beat up my father. He keeps girls' underwear for some reason and stuff. And eventually, not really the first sister, but in the second sister, he eventually grows and he shows the sister hey, I'm not really this bad guy. actually this good person that is caring and stuff like that. And I guess he also tries to act like a bigger brother instead of saying like, oh, this is all wrong and stuff like that. He like, he tries to make a relationship somewhat out of like the sisters and stuff. And I really do like that. The characters are really cool too.
They just feel real to me. Like I could see like, oh, like it's not like they're speaking or behaving like NPCs.
Yeah.
Like they say things real people would say, and I'm like, yeah, that's nice. Like it doesn't feel like I'm watching a generic isekai where they say just the same shit over and over again.
Yeah. I guess another thing that I really liked about the show was how we kind of like the first like season kind of introduced like I kind of already knew what's gonna happen. Like he's gonna have his harem and stuff because I did research on this and I wanted to know about more of the story and stuff. So I already know the harem, and it was really cool seeing all these different characters that he meets. Like the first person he meets is like Roxy, the person who helped him like overcome his anxiety of like basically, or just like him being a shut-in, because like even in the new world that he was responding to, he still had the problems of like he didn't want to go out. He was a social outcast, and when you learn that, like, well, obviously you don't really learn. You learn why he does it, but honestly, children are terrible when you're young, especially at school. They're the worst things they do are at school, and it was really cool that she helped him overcome this. Like, hey, let's just go on and go for a ride and stuff. And it was a really cool thing. She was like a good teacher, and she taught him how to be like a normal person. And then his second friend was basically the Sophie. I'm not really good with names, so
it was pretty much Sophie.
Yeah, she. I guess she was his first friend in the world, and it was really cool seeing like that he learned how to basically socialize and talk to people just like any normal person, and yeah, and also we got the redheaded girl, which many people didn't like. I was fine with her, honestly. Being like she's not the only spoiled brat in anime. There've been a lot of worse people.
Well, yeah, they really have.
And she's like one of them on the milder side, even though it was pretty funny when Rudy thought he was going to teach her a lesson by slapping her. He's like, see how? And she just throws a punch, and I'm like, I'll probably do the same thing, honestly. You go slap me, I'm gonna punch you back.
Yeah, like really thought he did something, and then he just gets clapped back.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, to be fair, like I really love how the show like takes the time to like build up like these like societal like interactions.
Yeah.
Instead of like he fucking is born in like New World. And all of a sudden, okay, let's fight the Demon Lord now.
Yeah. Like
there's like actual interaction and like relationships being built with like other people.
Yeah. And also, I guess another thing I like is there's not really a villain, like a main villain, because isekais there's like, oh, you need to defeat the Demon Lord and stuff, and that's your goal. It's like this guy's just living his life. In fact, we didn't even get a real villain until recently. With the Dragon God, and when you see that,
I mean that's if you even count him as a villain.
Well, I count him as a villain. Okay, so I guess antagonist is more of a correct thing.
Because from what I know, he's not really like hurting anyone. He just kind of has beef with like Rudy because he's like he's been reincarnated.
Yeah,
and this hints towards like. A lot more people also being reincarnated in like the show, which is something like I'm like looking forward to.
Yeah,
because if they do this like tastefully, it could be like really interesting.
Yeah, and it's really a really cool thing. Like when people like talked about like the turning point, especially when they made the Dragon God, I kind of liked that because it showed that Rudius wasn't the most overpowered person. It showed that like he still has ways to go before he is the powerful person. Because this guy literally took down Rudius, and he also man, I'm so terrible with these names.
Roger.
Roger. And he was like the strongest person he was like the strongest person we had, and he took him out easily. And he also took on Rudy's power easily, and like basically killed him. And it's like, holy crap, Rudy still has some way to go before even coming close to what this guy was able to do in like the first like few minutes we actually see him. So I really did like that, because then eventually gives like a goal that people try to strive to and stuff. And also
that fight really like was a turning point.
Yeah, it was.
Because like after that episode, I remember like researching like the guy a little bit, and I found out that like there's like a whole curse system in like the world.
Yeah,
and that's just really cool. And then what was I gonna say? I was gonna mention how like Rudy. At first, we think he's like all amazing because he's learned all these like things in like the first few years of his life.
Yeah,
and like he's obviously been keeping up training, and then like as you mentioned, it is cool to see someone else just be like, yeah, you're not the top dog. You're literally like kind of worthless right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they continue that, and like Rudy's never like the strongest person, I would actually quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
I don't think that the main like the protagonist like has to be the strongest or has to be this or that. They can be like kind of like not run of the mill, but like just kind of more like in the middle.
Yeah.
And there are still like a lot of interesting interactions that could be had.
Yeah. I agree. I like characters who are always like the most powerful thing, because if something's very overpowered, they eventually don't become that. That basically makes their personality. If they could just beat everything in like one go, like
there's no tension in the story.
Yeah.
It's like what makes One Punch Man so interesting to me is it's like you'll be reading it and they're like, oh yeah, Saitama beats everyone, and then you switch to a different perspective of someone else like fighting and they're struggling.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, they could get killed here. Like this is real.
Yeah.
And then you just sat there like hoping for Saitama to get there. Like, come on, please save him. And it just never happens.
Yeah.
And I love that about like that story.
Yeah. It's a really cool thing that Rudius is a person who can still grow. It shows that like there's still some things he can't do.
Yeah, there's more things to learn about the world.
Yeah. Also, this is the first isekai that had a kind of sex scene. It wasn't really a sex scene. It didn't even happen. And I read the manga, and apparently you shouldn't do that, but it didn't really happen. But I guess he's the first like isekai protagonist to actually have sex, or
yeah. He got laid.
Yeah, he got laid. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I can name another one that got laid.
Yeah. But I think this is also because this like.
I mean, actually, if you're counting Sword Art Online, Kirisa probably got laid quite a lot. So
actually, that is true. I actually remember that.
They did live in a cabin together. So
yeah, obviously.
What else are you meant to do in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Actually, they did have. I think there was a secret chapter where they were doing that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I actually found it. I was curious, but I found it and read it, and I was like, "Holy crap! This actually,
this actually happens."
Yeah, this actually happens. So yeah, I guess second one. Sword Art Online actually did it first. But yeah, all right. I guess that's all the good points. Is there any more good points you can name? Some things you like?
Well, I guess the production value.
Yeah.
Having like a dedicated studio to do the anime really did do it like wonders for the show. It looks amazing, and it's literally like, I don't know, probably one of the best looking anime like ever made.
Yeah. It does look great. It's really cool, and the fights also look amazing. And
that one shot of when he's casting that big water ball in like episode 2 or something.
Yeah.
That was honestly just a straight up flex.
Yeah.
To like do like a 360 like shot around him like that. That must have been so hard to animate.
Yeah, it probably would have, especially. And
well, it just looks amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it does look good. I'll give it that. Yeah. All right. I guess that's it for the good points. Now let's talk about the bad points. I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, you're the one with you have more bad points than me.
Yeah, I'll have some more bad points. So a main bad point that I kind of didn't like was it actually being an isekai. Not in the sense of like isekai is a bad. It's just that for me, I like immersion. I'm a fantasy guy. I like being immersed into a world. So like especially like with Tolkien's works, like he makes different languages to help build this world. I like characters who are born in this world, know nothing about this world, and just learning things like the way it is, and also learning like their daily lives and stuff. But because Rudius was born in a different world, he kind of compares it to video games and stuff, and every time he talks and stuff, it's pretty much like I'm not thinking of like, oh, this is a new world. I'm thinking, oh, this is similar to a video game that I could just play and all that, which kind of helps. It doesn't really help with the immersion, so I read the manga, and some things that they actually do is they have perspectives of other characters, and what I like about it is that they do the perspective of this character on like how they feel and how it's like on this certain specific main character and stuff like that. And I don't know if they do this in the light novel because I never read it. I only read the manga, and it was really cool how they saw their point of view in like all this. Like, the redhead girl. I don't even remember these characters. Eris. Okay, her. There was a cover like a special story about her and how she beat up everybody in the dojo when she first came in, and at first, like during the time, it was like, oh yeah, that's right. Eris is pretty strong, but because she's with Rudius, it's like you can't really tell because he's like over this overpowered stuff. And it was really cool seeing all the like different perspectives and how they felt because of like they live in this world. But yeah, that's just one thing I didn't like. Do you have anything you didn't like? I don't want this.
I just want to expand on what you said because like it's a fair point, but I also feel like it's a bit more like depends on the person. I feel like there was definitely people out there who would see that, and I feel like they would it would just help them relate it to something else and like give it let it be a bit more grounded.
Yeah.
But I definitely understand what you're saying. It's like you're just trying to enjoy this world, and then just all these constant reminders of like, oh yeah, in my last life, this is like a dating sim situation.
Yeah.
Like, what should I do?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of does like break the immersion a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I guess it's just the issue I have with isekai because Rudy, like he's never been in like a social like situation like that, so it's the only thing you could really like relate it to.
Yeah.
I guess it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I guess. I'm also like into epic fantasies and stuff, and Western fantasy is totally different from and Eastern fantasies, and like in Japan especially, because something like Lord of the Rings being done in Japan would probably be like the best thing ever. Like nowadays, like we got in like Western media, we got copies of like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and stuff like that, and so far I haven't found anything like that in anime. Mushoku Tensei comes closer because it does have a massive world, and it is taking its time building this world, and I do like that. But it's really hard to counter it as a fantasy because I just like the immersion. That's basically what I like.
Well, like a deep story that like you can really get into.
Yeah. Another thing I don't like, I kind of didn't like Rudius as a character, mostly because he was just like a pervert, and like there was some weird things like even though he was a kid, he acted like an adult. So like he was spying on his parents doing it, and also like peeking on girls and stuff at like age 4 or 5, and it was like I don't think I would like I wouldn't be doing that, or that would probably be me. It felt weird as like Rudius as a character, especially. Not saying he's a bad character, but he wasn't like out of all the main characters, he wasn't like good one. I thought I probably would have preferred like the incel character in that one or I guess he is an incel. He was.
Yeah, he was the basically the textbook definition of an incel.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like him being like a shitty person like that is the main charm too, since it's a redemption story. So like you have to start at the bottom to like redeem yourself from anything.
Yeah.
But I do kind of like get you how it is just a little bit much at times. Like I felt the same way. It's like, okay, like could you please stop doing like this weird shit? Like I don't want to be watching this.
Yes.
But then I guess it just, if you're trying to like write like the most like believable character ever and he has to be a piece of shit, then he will take like basically almost every opportunity to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it has to be done, but I don't want to see it, like type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think he is a great like main character though, like for the story. He's really interesting to follow.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't like his actions. That's all I had. Like,
yeah,
it is a good redemption story. Like, he does come better, but sometimes the actions he does, it's like, seriously. Now,
I feel like you don't have to agree with like what he does to enjoy the show anyway.
Yeah. I guess yeah. Okay, so let me just. I guess this is the anime bro craps on Mushoku Tensei moment, because honestly, I'm the only one giving the things I don't like about it. But
I mean, I do really like the show, so
yeah.
I feel like it makes for a bit more like balanced discussion.
Yeah. So obviously, Mushoku Tensei. One of the things I don't really, this is mostly as my preference, is that there's not much, like, again, I'm comparing this really high to Lord of the Rings and also Game of Thrones and stuff. There's not really much world, like, it doesn't seem like there's too much with, like, history. Like, we know cultures and stuff, but when it comes to history, it's, like, the only thing we got is that they have a calendar system of the years based off of, like, I forgot what they said it was, but
it's that one, like, a battle.
Yeah, that one
against whoever, and then they start the calendar after they won.
Yeah, it made it interesting, but I wanted to know like maybe more of this, because when we go through the show, like we're seeing like, oh, demons are the enemies, they're monsters and stuff, but then eventually, like, when you go through this place, it's like, they're not bad and stuff. So it just got me thinking, like, was there a reason why they said that? Because that would build up some history and like.
I feel like that's the stuff that's gonna come a little bit later, because like Roger and the Superb, like the reason why they hated it is because of like what's happening like in the past, but it's like it's the way it's come around that's like, was it in the show that it was told yet? I can't remember what the thing where the curse was forwarded onto like the Superb.
I think they mentioned a little bit.
Yeah. I think I remember them mentioning because of like because of their green hair and stuff. They're being mistaken for this like a bad guy or whatever. Yeah. But like I feel like interactions like that add a little bit of history. But I definitely know what you mean. Like we don't really get to see all this deep lore.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have no clue. But that sounds like something that would be like more expanded on in the light novel.
Yeah.
Which it truly might be, or it might be not. So I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, I always talk about this. Like, I like world building, especially. It's one thing I look forward to whenever I talk about like fantasy and stuff. This has the biggest world building so far in anime that I think. It's got languages, got some cultures. It even has like some of this perspective thing on like nations. Like when we first meet here, it's like, oh, these are the bad guys. You should not interact with them. But then when you go over to the nation with the bad guys, it's all we're not really the bad guys. We're just normal people. It's just humans say.
There's like this politics like to do like the cultures and stuff.
Yeah.
I also like how there's also like a little bit of like architecture and stuff that like you see as you travel, like Roxy's was it like village, and how like they live in these like almost shell things.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And how like you obviously see all these different ways that like people live, even if they're like on the same continent.
Yeah. My thing I kind of want, actually, now thinking about it, was I wanted to see like if this was like this does seem like a journey thing, but because there's no particular goal in mind, I kind of wouldn't minded it being like a Game of Thrones type of situation, in a sense where like there's different personalities you see. Because right now, being like Rudius being the only person we see their perspective of, it kind of like I like that in like a journey, like this guy going on a journey to do something. But it's probably why I don't like slice of life that much, because it's like, even though you see characters develop, it's not really like, there's not really a goal in mind. It's just them living their lives, which to me I don't find as appealing as like going on a journey, doing something, and seeing like if they can complete their goal or not.
Yeah,
I prefer those types of stories. And in Mushoku Tensei, that's basically it's like a fantasy slice of life. He's just like, things happen that are out of his control, and he's just like living his life normally. And I guess that's kind of why I didn't like it. It was I don't like the slice of life genre that much.
Yeah, I guess that's like an interesting take, but it also is the story of Rudy and his reincarnation.
Yeah.
But what I find really interesting, and I found out, and I guess it's kind of spoilers, is that right now this is only meant to be like the prologue to the main story. Like the life of Rudius is only like the introduction to what is going to be, I'm guessing, the main story of like I'm pretty sure his son. So I found that out, and I was like, shit, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like some Boruto type of shit, but like actually done well. But I felt like I was kind of disappointed, since it kind of upset me how like that almost made whatever we're seeing right now feel that little bit more like less significant. It's like, oh, this is just the intro. This is introducing the world, characters, like all these different systems. We're just very slow.
Well, I guess actually, now thinking about it, it's like The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit's like a prequel to The Lord of the Rings, but in it itself is a good story. It's just, it's not like there's like, they get their goal, but it's not this, like, their goal is not as big in the world as it is like in The Lord of the Rings.
It's not as grand.
Yeah, it's not as grand. It's more of like an intro, like, hey, we found the ring. There's the ring. We have an enemy now. It's not just Smaug, it's also the Sauron, even though he's not really mentioned in The Hobbit. And you get all these cool things. And I guess that, you know what, thinking about it, if this guy was inspired by Tolkien, I can actually see it now, because now looking about it, Rudius is going on this large journey, and even though it's going back home, I guess it's like there and back again. The Hobbit tale. So it's actually, I guess I'm looking at it totally differently. It's obviously, I have some problems with it. It's not major problems and stuff compared to other shows that I've hated on constantly, but I do gotta agree, it is a good show. Like I said, it's not an amazing show. Not like what people are saying. It's a good show. I'll agree with that. And yeah.
Oh, that's good enough for me then.
Yeah.
For me, it's an amazing show, but we're just different people who enjoy different anime.
Yeah. And yeah. All right. I guess that's the end of the video. Just final question. Obviously, you say there's an amazing show, and the answer is probably yes. But you recommend people watch this?
Oh, definitely. If you enjoy isekai, this might honestly ruin the rest of them for you. But I love it. And just to put a hot take out there, I like it more than ReZero.
Oh, I agree with you.
I said it. I said it. It is better. Fight me.
I agree with that. I don't even care. All right. Yeah, I also agree. But honestly, if you could be, there's two sides to this. You could be like me and say, it's a good show, or you can be like Abiisu, who's probably going to like worship the author and whatever he does. So,
if I was doing that, I would have already like read the light novel. I would have bought the light novel in Japanese, learned the language, and then read it again. Like, no, I just enjoy the story and I enjoy the characters.
Yeah. So yeah, those are our takes. A lot of people are probably gonna think I'm an idiot because of my hot takes I had to put on the show, but I don't really care. It's my
yeah, it happens. They think what they think.
Yeah. And all right, thank you, Abiisu, for coming on again.
Hey, thanks for having me. This was a really fun talk.
Yeah. Any final words before we end the video?
Hey, obviously, you have to subscribe to the Anime Bro. My guy is an absolute legend. The most unique channel on YouTube. You have to give him a sub.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, subscribe to Abiisu because he made a second channel and he's starting over fresh, so he really deserves the love. He also needs it too.
Thank you.
And subscribe to our channels and see you guys later. Peace.